Hello and welcome to this episode of Man Alive. I originally recorded this for my new podcast, Practicing Love, but I also wanted to launch it here in case you aren't getting the Practicing Love podcasts, because this is a really important episode. It's spicy, it's raw. There are times when I was wondering if it's too much, but our amazing guest, Susan Bratton, is one of the world's leading sex experts. And she doesn't hold anything back. And this is really an invitation to listen to a woman who is free in her sexuality, free with her desires, and thus has an incredible love life, an incredible relationship, an incredible sex life. And if you aren't in a relationship where you're hearing your partner's desires, where you know what they want and need, where you might be afraid of them being out of control if you open up that box, this is going to be a really good one for you. So have a listen, and I'm really curious what you think and how it feels to you, and feel free to email me some comments, and I'd love to hear what you're taking away from this. All right, enjoy this episode. If you haven't yet taken the quiz to see what keeps you from having the best love and sex of your life, go to shanajamescoaching.com/quiz. You'll get a personalized report of your strengths and challenges in the 5 crucial areas that lead to your most fulfilling and exciting love and sex life. Go to shanajamescoaching.com/quiz to find out. Hello and welcome to this episode of Practicing Love. I'm your host, Shana James. So excited to be here today with a woman who we've known each other probably for 20 years or so at this point. And Susan Bratton is an intimacy expert to millions, and she also likes to call herself a trusted sex advisor. So you are in for a treat today. We did another episode on Man Alive that I will connect with this one back in the day. We talked about, was it 14 different kinds of orgasm or 17 different kinds of orgasm?
Now there's 20, and the 20th one is wild card. So what? Yeah, I just had a nuzzlegasm. That was an interesting one. Once you become orgasmic, you can come from pretty much anything now.
So true.
I've had some brand new orgasms recently that I never experienced before.
Amazing. So it just keeps opening, right? There's no end.
Yes.
It's like people talk about how enlightenment is not the end. Becoming orgasmic is not the end. It's just the beginning.
Just the beginning.
So now you get a flavor of what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to talk about heart connection as well, and how confusing it can be, and the, desire that some of us humans have. And it can often be the feminine, more feminine beings who want to feel that heart connection in our sex and intimacy. And there are times when our partners look at us like, what are you even talking about? Or I don't know what you mean. When I used to lead the Authentic Woman experience, we would do these exercises it was men and women at that point. And the women would say things like, I want to be more connected. And the men said, can you give me something a little more specific? Can you help me understand what that means to you? Right? I don't know how to just pop open my heart. So I'm excited to hear from you today about some of your experiments in love and sex, and what you noticed and how you can now guide people to have that kind of heart connection. So anything you want to say to start about either how you got into this or why this topic is exciting to you? I'll leave it to you to choose.
Sure. Well, I've always said that, trusted hot sex advisor to millions, intimacy expert. It doesn't really matter whether it's the sexier one or the one that my PR firm likes, because it's more palatable to the average person who's still full of shame around their sexuality. Yeah. But what I've been doing for the decades that you and I have known each other is starting off on my journey of opening myself to pleasure, becoming more orgasmic, having a lot of experiences, and publishing the work of my mentors, but also writing 34 books and programs of my own to date. And I'm about to launch the 3rd edition of one of my books. So I've really been running a publishing company for decades now. And I have a couple of brands. One of them is called Better Lover. Mm-hmm. Another one is called the Steamy Sex Ed Video Collection. Mm-hmm. But everything that I publish is really recipe books for having what I call, and I've used these words for decades, heart-connected, conscious, passionate lovemaking. Mm. And what it really means to me is I know. What it really means to me is being non-performative. I
Yes.
feel that in many cases, when you're learning sex, you're learning tantra,
Yeah.
kink, BDSM, any kind of sex, and especially when you watch movies or read erotica or you watch porn,
Yeah.
what you're really seeing is almost all through a performative patriarchal lens.
Yeah.
So it's founded in religious repression. It's the subjugation of women. And it misses the heart connected part. It's more like friction than connection.
Yes.
And the conscious piece, like when you had Kevin Anthony on, one of our mutual friends, last episode, and he was talking about presence, what does that mean? What is that? That's heart connection. That's consciousness. I'm here. I'm not dissociated. I'm fully
I'm actually
active
with you, not some
with you.
fantasy or performance. Yes.
Exactly. And so what I've really been doing is I've been teaching orgasmic expansion for male and female bodies across the gender expression spectrum, whether it's vulvas or penises, and just how to come really well, how to be really close, how to be surrendered to each other. And what I would kind of culminate in something I call the dope flow sex date. And really what this is shedding all of the masculine, feminine constructs, because I feel like we are all of those things.
Yeah.
We have everything in us.
Yeah.
And less about the role play of I'm the dominant, I'm the submissive, I'll just surrender, you take charge. I don't like any of that. As I have evolved and had more partners and had experiences and had practices and have expanded my orgasmic potential and palette and duration and intensity and types of orgasms and my communication skills.
Because this is really interesting. I mean, I also really talk about the consciousness and the connection and the heart and sex. And Kevin talked a lot about the masculine, feminine, and I can get on board with that. And I've had other coaches and practitioners who talk about it. And it can be a great frame for people to understand themselves.
It's a good beginner's ramp in.
Yes. And there are some people who actually take it to depths that I haven't ever explored. But I also agree with you that it can lead into that we don't have to choose one or the other. We get to play and dance. It sounds like you've been playing with all of it.
Yes. I like to think about it as flow. That's why I call it a flow date. Okay. And I like to think about it as partnership. Yeah. And I like to think about it as being ruthlessly sexually self-expressed. I like it to be very co-creative, very spontaneous, because as you move from learning sexual skills, learning communication skills, learning pleasuring techniques, learning how to be in your masculine or your feminine in the polarities, then you gain the skills to just be exactly who you are without any filters or thoughts in every moment.
In that moment.
Being able to ask for what you want, being able to make offers, feeling into what your body desires, listening to your partner's desires, and going wherever you need to go in the moment. Yeah. And, a lot of people talk about, well, I'm a switch. So I'm not a feminine, I'm not a masculine, I'm a switch. And I'm like, okay, that's the next thing when you're on your journey to flow. Okay. So you go from, I've got to learn how to surrender, or I've got to learn how to run the game.
Right.
Then I've got to learn how to switch back and forth. Then I move into flow and partnership. And then it's just, what does my body want today with you in this moment? And I don't have any role play or preconceived notions or any things that are a construct. Yeah. I am in my pure, raw, ecstatic, moment by moment bliss state with you, and we're making it up as we go along. So that's where I am in my evolution right now. And I don't know what's past that, but I will let you know in another decade of knowing you. Yeah. Because I'm sure there's more, because there's always something more. Because if sex had a tagline, if sex was a brand and it had a tagline, it's there's always something more.
I love that. And, it speaks to my experience too with my partner, where it's a co-creative, in the moment, often surprising, to really
delightful.
And to let go of the shame that says anything I want isn't okay, right? To shift that into every desire, every longing, everything can be brought to a partner in a conscious way. And then it can be played with and co-created with. I mean, we don't always have the same desires or the same capacities, but I think if we can talk about it and share, from the depth of our hearts, there's so much that can happen there.
Yes. It's interesting too. I have been married, my husband, Tim, you've known him for decades.
Yeah.
I've been married to and with Tim for going on 35 years.
Wow.
And we have been open in our marriage for going on 25 years.
Yeah.
And I've had long-term partners, additional partners, one partner for almost a decade. My latest partner, I've been with him for 5 years. Yeah. He and my husband are best friends. We travel together. That. We're very, very close.
Yeah.
And I also now and again meet someone I'd like to be intimate with. And I have a short-term or longer-term relationship with them too. Mm-hmm. Longer terms are hard. I've done it for up to a year, but my boyfriend and my husband take a lot of my attention. Yeah. And so I can have experiences. And I'm only saying this because I'm going to talk a little bit today with you about a recent experience I had and how I framed it and what I went for and what the results were that were interesting, that might be helpful for your listeners who are wanting to have incredible love and sex experiences. And I just want to say that I'm not here to dwell on my consensual or ethical non-monogamy, and I don't recommend it for most people. Yeah. So I'm not here proselytizing about CNM.
No, it takes a high degree of consciousness and communication and emotional intelligence. It takes
I've done the work.
Yes, you have done the work.
Right?
I know that.
So I can operate at this level because I'm willing to be in a lot of growth and uncertainty and pain and work through it and resolve and own my love in the long term and all those kinds of things. So that's not what I'm here to talk about. But a part of what I wanted to share with you was a recent love experiment that I did that I thought was kind of an interesting and telling experience.
Okay. I love that it's like story time, but sexy story time. And, but it's also conscious and connected, right? How do we have more of this connection and lovemaking?
Yeah, one of the things that I like about being in an open relationship is, number one, I'm sexually sovereign. Yeah. So I call it agentic, which means having agency over my sexuality, especially because we're really in the AI era of agentic, tech and sex tech, which is the other thing I would have wanted to talk to you about today is my adventures in sex tech are fucking lit, Shayna. But we can do that another time.
We talked about that the last time too. So I will link that, but then we'll do another one at some point.
Oh, okay. There's so much more, girl. Okay. So much more. I've been doing some really fun things. But anyway, I think about myself and having agency over myself. So I walk in this world, both sexually self-confident, welcomed, and free to have desires for other people beyond the two people that I spend the bulk of my time with, because I decide who I want to be sexual with. This agency allows me to keep my radar up for potential experiences that will expand me and allow me to do a better job as the trusted hot sex advisor to millions, in addition to getting fun new experiences and having my own learning and growth. Yeah. And I speak at a lot of health conferences.
I haven't found it.
So I was at a health conference a little over a year ago, about a year and a half ago, and I met a nice guy, and he gave me a hug just as a goodbye. Like after we had a nice conversation, he gave me a hug, and my body went, "Who dis? Like what was that?" That guy gave, and he wasn't even trying. It wasn't like he was trying to give me a hug I could remember. Like just the way he touched me, the way his body fit mine, the way my body responded to his animal and my animal.
Yeah.
I couldn't forget it. I thought about it all year, and I went back to speak the next year at this conference. And I was like, oh, I hope that guy's here. I'd like to get another one of those hugs. And I met him, and I was with one of my best friends, and he came up and he was talking to me, and I was talking to him, and I came to dinner. We both really. And it was funny because I had my little bag of all my sex toys and things, because I had just gotten off the stage, and I had my bag, my bag of dildos and stuff. And I had an STI testing kit in my hand. And I said to him, just spur them, like completely not premeditated. I said to him, I would like to get to know you better. I would like to have an experience of some kind with you. And he said, I would like to get to know you better. That sounds really good to me.
Nice.
And I said, would you like to come up to San Francisco and visit me? And he said, yes. And I said, well, I just happen to have this STI test right here in my bag of dildos. Would you get STI test? So I gave him the test.
You're being safe. You're keeping yourself safe and partner safe.
Oh no, I'm not getting anything. It's a disaster out there. And there's long-term downstream effects of a lot of this stuff. So no way. So, he took the STI test and we made a date for him to come. And we're like, look, if it doesn't work out, you can go home anytime you want. If it works out, fantastic. My husband was away. My boyfriend doesn't live around my home. We worked, we cooked, we rode bikes, we went on hikes, we made love, we went out to dinner a couple times. We just had a fantastic time. And what's interesting about it was that he was like, where is this all going? And I said, I don't know. Let's just call each other adventure partners.
Yeah.
Let's just have this experience. But
well, one thing I'm loving is that this is what I've been actually writing about. I've been writing an honest dating manual. Oh. One of the fundamental pieces is you don't have to know where something's going, right? It is a discovery. And if you can actually consciously communicate with the person you're with, you get to discover, who are we to each other? Are we lovers? Are we partners? Are we friends? Are we collaborators? Right? Instead of, are you the one and are you the one for this very specific thing? And if you're not, then go away.
I know that's such old thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, retire that. Exactly. Yeah. And one of the things that I wanted him to do was open his heart.
Okay.
Because I have been working my whole life to build my heart muscle. You know, do you remember Deborah Anapol, the seven natural laws of love? One of the laws of love is that using your heart, loving, actually makes you palpably feel love even more than receiving love.
Yes, I agree with that.
It's a practice of loving. And so it took me a long time to even love my husband because I had grown up in a very insecurely attached childhood. I had been burned a lot of times. I just remember that I probably was married to him, I don't even want to know more than 10 or 15 years before I fully just surrendered and loved him completely.
Wow.
I was miserly with my love. And I think a lot of people are for various reasons. One, some people have been betrayed and it's hard for them to love again. They don't want to get hurt. So they don't want to go through that again. Right. So I've worked through this to the point where I really want to play full out and open my heart and have full love expression, even if you're going to be at my house for 24 hours. Right.
Even if it's a one night stand. Yes.
Right.
How do you open your heart fully to each other and love? So, okay. You said this to him.
Yes. And I said, I want you to practice this.
What did he say? Or was he confused by it? Or was he?
No, he tried. Okay. He really did a good job. He really tried to be very loving. And what was interesting was, and this was another thing about him that was interesting to me, is that he was 22 years my junior. And part of what attracted him to me was that he wanted to get experience being with someone who had a lot of sexual experience. And he liked that. And he wanted to ride my ride and experience what I desired. Yeah. And it was interesting because he really tried to step up and open his heart. And I could see him working on it, and it was hard for him.
For people who are partnered in long-term relationships, like, are there things that you did with him to ask for that kind of heart connection that partners could actually bring back into their relationships, whatever kind of relationship they're in?
Yeah. One of the big ones for me that I teach a lot of men is what I call the heart-tongue method. And it's really about One of the things that he was very, very focused on, as men generally are, is intercourse.
Mm-hmm.
And he just wanted to make me come and hear me moan. And like, he didn't have a lot of other skills, and he didn't have a lot of soft skills. Like,
okay. So it sounds a little bit less like love making and a little bit more like the, physical sex, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't sound like the heart connected what you were going for.
So I said to him, you need to connect your heart to your cock.
Uh-huh.
And it's not a piston. I don't want to be jackhammered.
Yes.
I want you to like have it touch every part of the inside of me.
Yes.
And I don't want to be penetrated early. I want to be slowly made love to. I want you to hold me. I want to have fun. I want to laugh. I want to massage each other. I want to kiss deeply. I want to look in each other's eyes. I want to have you give me yoni massages, go down on me. He didn't, as many people don't. He was not super comfortable with going down on me. He wasn't super comfortable with 69 because he hadn't had a lot of practice with it, which is typical. That's common. That's not unusual.
Because when I imagine a woman who's been in a 20, 30-year relationship who is kind of feeling that like, it's faded, it's fizzled, it's
the monotony of monogamy.
The monotony. I'm like, most of those women are not massaging and laughing and having yoni massage, and their partners don't have their heart connected to their cock. And so it's like, I think a lot of those women
just ejaculating inside them. Yeah.
And a lot of those women don't even know what to say or don't know that it's possible. So I love what you're painting, this picture of what lovemaking can be and how joyful and connected and, heart opened and co-creative and all these things that I really want people to hear how possible that is. For people who are in longer term relationships, who are more monogamous, I think the point of, how do you continue to love instead of be miserly with your love and your touch and your affection when there is tension? I don't think many people have learned how to do that. And there is a lot of tit for tat, right? I'm going to take this away because you took that away. And we have to get through this before we can actually show love to each other again, which you and I both know is not actually true.
Here's my approach to it. This is what I've been doing with Tim Bratton for 35 years.
Tell us.
And that is, we've been through thick and thin together.
Yeah.
We've almost gotten divorced.
Yeah.
We've completely lost all our money and gone broke. I almost died from COVID. As you know, you remember how sick I was. I really almost died.
Yeah.
It took me years. I'm still cleaning up after that virus. It killed me.
Wow. Yeah.
Because he's my person for life. He's allowed to make mistakes. He's allowed to fuck things up royally, and I will love him through it. And I will practice my expansion, my growth. I will stay in painful conversation. I will let things rest. I will give him time to get over things as he does for me. So that's how you do it. It's a long-term, he's my person for life.
I think that's a beautiful point. Yeah. And it's just such a beautiful point about being an adult means we allow our partners to make mistakes, and we don't do the immature thing of fuck you for doing that to me. Now I'm going to do this to you. It's like, oh, actually, how can we grow through this together? And how can we love each other more? And how can we learn more and open our hearts more?
Yes. And there was one last thing that I want to end on.
Okay.
My erotic adventure partner, he said, you don't really need to tell me what you want to do when we're having sex. You can just relax and surrender, and I'll do. Oh, there were two things. That one thing, because I would be like, hey, do you want to play with my boobs while I stroke your cock and we'll make out? And then what do you think about, we'll do some 69, and then we definitely should fuck, like that. Like I was running in menus, right? Yeah. And he did not like that because he felt like I was telling him what to do. Yeah. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You could always be like, well, I want to fuck you on the couch, but I don't want to do this thing, but I have three more ideas. He tried to I don't want to surrender. I'm not feminine. I'm a human. I got ideas. Aren't you
I also hear
to learn
things? I don't really want to know what you like or what turns you on. I want to do it to you. And it doesn't sound connected or like there's a co-creation.
It's totally egoic.
Yeah.
I want to be in charge. Yeah. You can't tell me what to do. I'll be the boss here. And it's like, that's not going to give me my full sexual self-expression.
No.
That's limiting me.
Yeah.
You're limiting what I can say about my desire.
Did you try to have a conversation about it? Because I know you're good at having these conscious conversations. So was it more of a, oh, wow, like that actually doesn't work for me. That doesn't feel good to me. That feels like you're trying to control me. Did that happen? Or was it more of a, we just are too different?
There was one more piece I want to lay in, which is very, very similar, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get your listeners to become aware of where they're shutting down their partners instead of opening them.
Yes.
So the other one was that I have a high desire to hear reassurances.
Yeah.
I need a lot of encouragement and reassurance.
Yes.
Again, that unstable childhood, a little bit of ADHD. And one of the games I teach people is 3 things I love about you. Tell me 3 things that you love about me. I notice that as I'm starting to let down and get turned on, I really want the reassurance of knowing you love me.
Yes.
And so I want you to verbally tell me things you love about me.
Yeah.
And it really helps me calm down and get into my body and feel safe.
It's a
safety and security thing for me to hear the verbal.
Yep.
And he didn't like when I asked for that. He said, it kind of ruins it for me, because when you ask me to tell you and then I tell you, it's like,
doesn't
fake.
feel right.
It doesn't feel authentic. And I'm like, it feels authentic to me if they're authentic things.
If they're
and
authentic
I'm
things
asking
you're
for
saying
when I need them.
Yes.
I would like you to give them to me when I need them. And he's like, well, I want to give them to you when I want to give them to you. I'm like, but you don't.
Well, and okay, so also there's a part of me that's like, this, he's not a good lover for you, because he's not willing to connect.
Let me ask for what I want. Yeah.
Yes. It's fine to say to someone, I don't like it when you do this, but it's also, if you're in a partnership, okay, I don't like it, or something, I feel uncomfortable. It's like, what's going on for me? And then how can I, if it's something you really love, how can I be generous to love you? Not so that I'm sacrificing myself, but how can we create something together that's loving?
Once you're with a woman who doesn't sugarcoat, who asks what she wants, who's easy to love, who loves the shit out of you, you get to give her what she wants. You get to know what she wants and give it to her. You get to be her hero. You get to win. You get her respect.
Yeah.
You get the delight of her full appetite. You get growth. You get a lot of novelty and variety. She'll never leave you because you know her and you love her for exactly who she is. And she's constantly dynamic and interesting. She's constantly growing and wanting more.
Mic drop. That is amazing. That's what I wanted to hear, because I think a lot of men are scared of that, or there's that lack of control can feel intimidating. But wow, what happens when you actually meet a woman in that place is, you bond like nothing else, right? Because you know each other so well and you love each other so well. And she feels so heard and understood and taken care of and appreciated and loved. Why would she go anywhere else? That's
why I'm here 35 years later with Sir Tim.
Thank you so much for this and for all of your
pleasure.
Wisdom and teaching that you're bringing to the world.
I love to talk to you because you operate at such a high level that you can really appreciate what I say, and we're aligned in our values and how we love people, but also how we love men.
Yeah.
And how we want so much for them and how we're their champions.
Yeah.
And so I felt very supported to be myself and tell my truths, and that you created the safety around that for me through our long-term love for each other.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Where can people find you? I know you have things everywhere, but where do you want people to find you?
Betterlover.com is my 2 times a week hot sex tips newsletter. And if you have any questions for me and you just reply to any email you get from me from betterlover.com, I will personally reply to you.
Oh, that's amazing.
This is so feel free to AMA, ask me anything. You can also follow me on Instagram, and it's Susan Bratton. It's all one word, smush it together, SusanBratton, Susan Bratton, and
Great.
you'll find me there. Thanks
I'll put the
so
link
much, Shana.
in the show notes. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you joined us for today's episode of Practicing Love. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and gained insight into yourself and your current and past relationships and inspiration for what's possible. If you like what you heard, I'd be so grateful for you to subscribe and write a quick review to help people find us. If you'd like more support in your love life, be sure to get your free copy of my best-selling book, Honest Sex, at shanajamescoaching.com/free. That's shanajamescoaching.com/free. And we'll see you next time.